when we do our jobs right, players will feel like they're playing Call of Duty. It's just in their pocket. And we want people to have that sort of familiar experience when they play Call of Duty mobile.
So here to talk to me today is Chris Plummer, who is Activision's VP of Mobile. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm very excited to talk to you because I have to say I was actually on the panel that picked the EE Mobile Game of the Year finalists, and this was one of my picks. I was so excited to see Call of Duty hit mobile, and a little bit trepidatious because obviously it's a game with a big reputation. For anybody who isn't kind of familiar with just how popular Call of Duty is, can you give us some facts and figures?
Well, Call of Duty has been one of the most popular video game franchises for over 15 years. So even if you talk to non-gamers, they've probably heard of Call of Duty. I think people have come to love sort of this really reliable, high production value, super tight control, really frenetic gunfights, and over the series, introducing iconic locations and multiplayer experiences that people really come to rely on. So it has a unique flavor, and we're just really excited that players enjoy it so much.
So you kind of mentioned there that Call of Duty experience, and I love that you said frenetic, because I was actually trying to describe it to somebody earlier, and I thought that's exactly it, that kind of fast-paced, frenetic, really kind of slick, first person experience. And so bringing that to mobile, I imagine is quite a challenge, because when we think of mobile games, perhaps unfairly, they have a reputation for being the lesser, section of the gaming industry, when actually we're seeing, that isn't really the case. And Call of Duty has been one of the games that has really kind of pioneered that. So what were the kind of characteristics of the Call of Duty experience that you knew you needed to have in a mobile game?
Well, for us, like the best compliment we could ever get in a game like this is for people to say, wow, it feels like I was just playing Call of Duty. And that's the mission. So in order to break that down and figure out, well, what does it take to bring a true Call of Duty experience, it starts with really taking the greatest hits from the franchise. If we go back to the Black Ops series, Modern Warfare series, even Ghosts, we've tried to take the best content that players know and love, and this is stuff that's been battle tested over the ages. So it's the map designs and things are just super airtight. And we wanted to start with like that sort of environment, that setting that people know. But then it really gets down to the gameplay is the most important thing ultimately, and we have to have super tight controls. That's a challenge on any platform. I think when you're bringing something to mobile that is known for having such tight controls, it just takes a ton of time and iteration and a lot of player testing with real players who can get in and try it out and give us feedback so we can continue to iterate. So I think having the controls, having the locations, and then the production values is another big thing that people depend on or expect to see in a Call of Duty game. So making sure that the content is really kind of AAA quality from all the way through and through. And that creates its own set of challenges, again, on any platform, but particularly in mobile, where players aren't necessarily as accustomed to having sort of AAA caliber visuals and full presentation. So that takes a lot of care and effort to make sure that can come across right on the small screen. And when we do our jobs right, players will feel like they're playing Call of Duty. It's just in their pocket, and we want people to have that sort of familiar experience when they play Call of Duty mobile.
Of course, we have seen mobile games with Call of Duty elements in them before. So, what made you want to go all in? What made you decide, we need a Call of Duty mobile that is everything players would expect from a COD game?
Well, at some point you've got to say, do we have to make compromises here in order to deliver this experience? I think we were at a point where we felt like we really didn't need to make compromises. It was really just a lot of discipline and taking attention to detail and the things that players expect from the franchise. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it, and I think that's why you haven't seen an FPS with Call of Duty on it that's multiplayer, that's all of these things before, because we really wanted to make sure that we could deliver something authentic. And I think, our team is kind of a global team, has been able to really make that happen. And whether it's the initial experience when you play, to amount of content that's always coming into the game to keep it fresh, and the live operation of it, the cool activities and events. All of this like feels familiar to people who've played Call of Duty, and if you haven't, we're going to introduce it in a way that we think lives up to everything that people know and love about the franchise.
So obviously you say, that you feel like this was the kind of first time you didn't have to make compromises, but, what were the biggest challenges? Because, it is, look, it's a BAFTA award-winning game. It feels incredible, but I assume, as you said, a huge amount of iteration and, just try again has gone into making it feel like that.
You pretty much hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's a lot of try again, and just making sure there's tons of iteration time on gameplay, play testing, on feel, on balance. Some of the things you think would be the challenge, like it's on a smaller screen, but mobile phone screens are now quite high fidelity. They have a lot of pixels in them, and there's a lot of rendering power there. It's really the UX is another big challenge. We think about like how do you bring all this feature richness into a user experience that you can easily interact with. And Call of Duty games traditionally have a ton of not just content but modes and lots of options and lots of configurability. It's a very custom experience, and we had to deliver that too. So I think the UX is something that was probably one of the bigger challenges, and making sure that players can interact and get to what they want to get to. And it's something, honestly, to this day we still iterate on and improve. And people who have been playing the game for a while probably notice us continuing to make those kinds of improvements, because there's always new features coming in, and you can't just kind of throw them in there. They have to it has to all flow together elegantly. So between controls, UX, and really, I think another challenge is just the amount of time it takes to create the content at the level of fidelity and the level of detail and performance that we need to deliver a real authentic Call of Duty experience. That's a lot of challenge to unpack into a new platform. And I think we're at a point now where we're kind of humming on hitting it on all cylinders, but it was challenging to get there.
And of course, you said there that you've kind of you've taken player feedback into account as you've been kind of going along and iterating. And obviously, you're at, I think, if I'm correct, 250 million installs. So obviously, you launched, you had that initial period where everybody was blown away and did think this is as good as we dared to dream. How do you then keep them engaged? How do you make sure that they don't just bounce off the title?
Well, live operation is really the heart and soul of what keeps the game interesting and exciting day after day. So it's one thing to get the gameplay, the core sort of gameplay experience, to a level that really can engage people and get them coming back for more. But for us, it's like not enough to just have that. And I think for our players, it's not enough to just have a great experience for the first few weeks. There's an expectation that the game's going to remain fresh, and whether it's new modes, and we're frequently trying new modes in the game, new maps. There's a ton of new maps that have gone into the game, new event types, tons of new weapons and characters. I mean, every month we've actually switched our live cadence. There's an example of one of our recent seasons, Once Upon a Time in Rust. We've switched to a monthly cadence on these seasons, and you can just see the amount of stuff. This is in 1 month that's introduced fresh and new into the game, whether it's all new maps, whether it's the modes, the characters, the weapons, all this stuff. And then boom, the next month starts, we have a whole new theme, whole new set of content. Radio Activision is the season that just ended. So for those of you who are playing, you probably collected a lot of this stuff already through playing and engaging. And we just launched a brand new season kind of last night today, which is The Forge. So this is our brand new season. It has a little bit more of a kind of a Mad Maxy vibe to it. And we think that players are kind of enjoying that too. So there's the core Call of Duty kind of just mil-spec, authentic feel at the sort of underlying backbone of the entire game content. But then we inject some interesting themes on top of that that allow you to kind of bring those same weapons and gears and characters into new environments that tend to carry a theme. And the events are now starting to carry into those themes. And the players are giving us a ton of feedback on it. So this is really helpful for us, because as we plan out future seasons, we're able to get a pretty like a treasure trove of feedback from players who are constantly telling us, what things they liked about last season, what things they'd like to see better or different. And so hopefully players are noticing that improvement month after month. But this is how we keep people coming back. And this is really, that and just ongoing, tuning and improvement to the core experience.
So obviously that's a much faster pace than we see in kind of the console versions of Call of Duty. So what's it like kind of creating content that you want to have? It's Call of Duty is a prestige title. You're looking for a certain level of polish and finish. What's it like having to do that, but on to a much faster pace, month after month after month?
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of advanced planning, and the challenging factor is trying to marry that up with the ongoing player feedback that we're always receiving too. So sometimes we will change things pretty late in the game because of some feedback that's come in order to just try and get it just right. But we also have this advantage of being this unique Call of Duty game that's kind of the best of the kind of the greatest hits of the franchise, that we have a ton of content that we can draw from. So if we need, someone who's, fits a certain archetype on a character or a new type of weapon or something, there's a good chance there's something in the archives of Call of Duty that's already been, battle tested that we can bring in and sort of provide an accompaniment of other related thematic items with it, and to try and deliver on our monthly season cadence. But it is challenging. I mean, the team they're around the clock, and it's exhilarating. It's a ton of fun. I think they can feel it. Getting that kind of real-time feedback from players makes it all worthwhile, and we're getting better at it too. So I think we always feel like each season is a little bit better than the last.